Palmer was born in the heart of the Australian outback, where the earth burned red under the sun, and eucalyptus trees whispered ancient stories in the wind. His family were humble immigrant workers. They toiled through long hot seasons, just to raise 3 children. The 2 eldest? Healthy, strong, driven by ambition, quick to leave the dusty land behind. They believed, if you work hard enough, you can have anything. But Palmer was different. Since birth he was fragile. He cried through the nights, refused food, and burned with strange fevers doctors couldn't explain. His mother stayed awake, nursing him, praying quietly in the dark. One day, a spiritual elder came to see the child. She looked into his birth date and said, "This boy carries the number 22, a master number, the healer of communities. But if he doesn't awaken, he'll fall into the hardships of the number 4. Struggle, pain, endless trials. He wasn't born to live for himself." Those words carved into his mother's heart. She looked at her youngest boy, and for the first time, she saw not weakness, but a strange and sacred strength. Palmer grew up quiet, withdrawn, with eyes that often looked far beyond what others could see. He studied hard, got into a university in Sydney, ship design, but something unexpected happened. At a Reiki workshop for students, something stirred inside him, like an ancient bell ringing through his bones. It felt familiar, as if he had done this before. From that day, he walked a new path, a healer's path, combining Reiki with hypnotherapy. Even while working at a ship design company, Palmer spent his nights and weekends quietly healing those who found him, especially those who were forgotten, those trapped in despair, the ones the world had left behind. At 24 years old, Palmer returned to Melbourne for a high school reunion. After the gathering, he received a message. It was from Declan, an old classmate he barely remembered. "Palmer, my little sister Olive is in bad shape. We've tried everything. Nothing helps. I heard you work with Reiki and hypnotherapy. Could you help her?" Palmer read the message and sat in silence. He knew what healing truly meant. It meant stepping into another's darkness, into grief that had no name. Sometimes, even into karmic wounds from past lives. And a healer, if not steady, might carry those wounds themselves. But still, he couldn't look away. "I'll come," Palmer replied. And so the story begins. Their first meeting happened on an autumn afternoon. The golden wattle trees whispered in the breeze, and the air smelled like old earth and eucalyptus. Palmer walked up to Declan's house, a modest home tucked in a quiet suburb west of Melbourne. The door opened. Declan greeted him with a smile that couldn't hide the worry in his eyes. He led Palmer past the living room, where his mother sat silently, praying beside a white candle. Palmer bowed slightly, then followed Declan into Olive's room. The room was small, the window half open. Sunlight poured in across the wall, where chaotic paintings hung at strange angles. Olive was curled up in the corner of her bed, hugging a pillow, staring outside, unblinking. As Palmer stepped in, she snapped her head around, eyes wild, defensive. "I don't need anyone. Get out." Declan moved toward her. But Palmer raised a hand. "Gently." He said nothing. Set down his backpack. Pulled out a small meditation mat. Sat on the wooden floor, not facing Olive, but angled gently, leaving space. Then he spoke. "Come. Warm. I'm not here to heal you today. I'm just going to sit. If it bothers you, I'll leave." Olive stared. Suspicious. As if trying to decode whether this was a trick. But Palmer didn't move. He just sat. Breathing. Eventually, Olive turned away. Still hugging the pillow. But she didn't ask him to leave. That was the first day. For the next 2 weeks, Palmer came every Tuesday and Friday. Some days he said nothing. Some days he played soft instrumental music. Other days, he let Olive draw. Then gently picked up the drawing, nodded, and whispered, "Thank you." Slowly, Olive sat straighter. She asked him short, curt questions. And one day, she gave him a drawing. A dark room. 3 windows. Only one. Glowing gold. Palmer looked at it. "Is this inside your mind?" Olive said nothing. Just nodded. That was the first time. She acknowledged her inner world. In the 3rd week, Palmer asked permission to try something new. Just a light hypnosis. A gentle way to help Olive breathe. To connect her to her body. The family agreed. The session began with breath. Place your hands on your belly. Feel the rise and fall. Let the body know it's safe. At first, she resisted. Tensed. Closed off. But then, something changed. Olive's voice shifted. It became soft. Playful. She spoke of music. Of painting. Of full moons. She giggled and asked, "Do you like looking at the moon?" Palmer froze. This wasn't the same Olive. He recorded the session. Later, he played it for Declan. Declan went pale. He whispered, "That's her voice." When she was 9, before everything fell apart. That night, Palmer sat on a quiet balcony, looking up at the silver crescent in the sky. He understood. Olive wasn't just broken. She had split to survive. At least one other self lived inside her, born to carry what she couldn't. Palmer realized this wasn't about making Olive normal again. It was about walking into the inner door and meeting the ones who lived there, one by one. Palmer arrived earlier than usual. The sky over Melbourne was heavy with gray clouds. They rolled low over the rooftops, like something unspoken still hiding above. Declan opened the door with a nod. He didn't say anything, but his eyes were full of hope. The therapy room had been cleaned. Palmer placed a small speaker on the floor, a bottle of lavender oil on the shelf, and set an old-style pendulum on the table. Not for classic hypnosis, but to give rhythm to Olive's breath. Olive sat on her bed, looking out the window. Silent. She didn't turn to look at Palmer as he entered. He said nothing. He turned on the music. Soft Tibetan bells, ocean waves, and the heartbeat of slow, safe time. Today, I'll guide you into a peaceful state, he said gently. You don't have to do anything. Just close your eyes. Let your mind drift like a leaf, floating down a quiet river. Palmer sat beside her, just close enough. He waited. And then, Olive lay down, turning her back to him. A silent yes.
Palmer began. Breathe in slowly. Breathe out deeply. Your body softens. Light as air. Every breath takes you one step deeper. Down a wooden staircase. Into a quiet garden inside you.
1 minute. 5. 10. Olive's body relaxed. Her shoulders dropped. Her hands unclenched. Her breath deeper. Palmer continued. You see 3 doors before you. One is white, one red, one blue. Each holds a part of you. You don't need to open them all. Just listen. Which one calls to you? A pause. Then Olive whispered, in a different voice. The red door. It's warm. But I'm not afraid. Palmer's breath slowed. She had crossed the threshold. Then go ahead. I'm here. You're not alone. Her voice quivered. It's a room. Paintings on the walls. A small piano. There's music. Palmer smiled gently. What's your name? A pause. Then, I'm Nero. I love music, drawing, light. But Olive locked me away. She's scared of me. Why? Because I'm soft. And she had to be strong. Palmer sat still. That truth pierced him like a knife. Olive had hidden away her gentleness, her art, her innocence, just to survive. And that became Nero. Palmer asked softly, do you want to come back? To draw again? To hear the music? Nero whispered, yes, but there's another part. She hates music, hates everything. She has a gun. She won't let me out. Palmer tensed. Do you know her name? Silence. Then, a new voice emerged. Rough, harsh, angry. I don't have a name. I don't need one. I'm here to protect. Men are trash. Palmer breathed in deeply. He had found her, the protector. I know who you are, he said gently. You're not here to be tamed. You're here because Olive needed someone to fight. Don't try to fix me, she growled. You're just another man. Men hurt. I don't. Palmer didn't argue. Didn't defend himself. I don't want to fix anything. I just want to understand. A long silence. Then she whispered coldly, don't call me sweet. The session ended slowly. Palmer guided Olive back, with breath. When she opened her eyes, she looked confused, as if waking from a place she didn't know existed. I I'm tired, she whispered. Palmer nodded, covered her legs with a soft blanket. We'll stop here. But I know there are voices inside you, waiting to be heard. I'll be here for every one of them. Olive said nothing, but for the first time, she didn't look away. Palmer sat alone in his favorite cafe, laptop open, typing notes from the last session, a ritual he had followed since the beginning. He wrote, Olive has 3 distinct personalities. Nero, the gentle artist, the protector, unidentified, fierce, angry, and Olive, the original, trapped in between. He stared out the window. The sky was gray, heavy, just like Olive's mind. Not raining, not clear, just thick with silence. For the next session, Palmer didn't plan comfort. He planned truth. Olive, he said softly, today, I don't want you to run. Whatever comes, I'll stay. Olive looked at him, uncertain, then nodded. A quiet yes. This time, Palmer didn't guide her into a garden. No ocean waves. No Tibetan bells. He walked her straight into the house of memory. You're standing before an old house, he whispered. The wood is gray, broken. The door, slightly open. Olive's voice trembled. It's dark inside. It smells burnt. Do you want to go in? No. Her breath broke. Palmer felt it. This was the place. The beginning. It's okay, he whispered. We won't go deep. Just stand at the door. I'm here. Olive's body shook. Her hands gripped the blanket. Sweat ran down her temple, though the room was cool. He's in there. Who? The neighbor. Travis. He came over when Mom was out back. I was 6. Her voice cracked. He said he had candy. Then he grabbed my hand, pulled me in, slammed the door. I don't remember. Just screaming. Pressure on my chest. I couldn't breathe. Palmer's jaw tightened. His hands gripped the chair beneath him. Did you tell anyone? I told Mom. She didn't believe me. Said I imagined it. Told me to be quiet. Not to make trouble. Silence. Then Olive whispered. That night, I sat under a tree, and I wished I could disappear. And then, Nero was born. Palmer closed his eyes. His breath, slow. What happened next? A week later, Travis came again. I didn't cry. I bit him. Fought. But I was small, too weak. Then I heard a scream. In my head. A voice. Cold. Strong. I'd never heard it before. It said, "Let me handle it." Then, I blacked out. That was the first time the protector appeared. Olive nodded. Her body curled like a child hiding inside herself. When I woke up, Travis was bleeding from his hand, and I was holding a pair of scissors. Mum thought I was playing. Travis never came back. Palmer's heart felt heavy. Everything now made sense. The first trauma created Nero, the part that loved beauty, softness, light. The second trauma forged the protector, fierce, merciless, a shield that felt nothing. And Olive, the original soul, caught in between two worlds, not knowing who she was anymore. The session ended quietly. Olive fell asleep, sweating, brow furrowed, even in dreams. Palmer sat beside her, watched, not with pity, but with awe. She had cracked, she had split, but she was still here. And now, she was finally speaking. He whispered, "I won't fix you. I won't force anything. I'll help you hear yourself. All three of you. And you'll be the one who makes peace." Palmer believed every soul was an orchestra. Sometimes, every note sang in harmony. Other times, chaos. Strings against brass. Drums against flute. And Olive. She was that chaos. One body. Three voices. Three living souls. Sharing one heart. One past. One fragile girl. That day, Palmer didn't guide her into memory. He invited her into the circle. "Olive," he said softly, "today I want you to speak. Not to me, but to yourself." She nodded, closed her eyes. "You're sitting in a circle. In front of you, two empty chairs. But not for long. Silence. Breathing. Then, her voice changed. Softer. Unsure. "I'm Nero." Palmer smiled quietly. "Hello, Nero. I don't know what to do when Olive hurts. I just want to draw, to play piano. But when she cries, I run away." "Where do you go?" Palmer asked. "A blue room. No windows. It's quiet, but lonely." Suddenly, the voice changed. Deeper. Sharper. Cold. "Quiet is death. Quiet is weakness. I won't allow it." Palmer recognized her. The one with fire. "Hello again. Don't hello me. I'm not here for your kindness. I'm not trying to change you," Palmer said. "I just want to understand." A long breath. Bitter. Tired. No one protected her. Not her parents. Not teachers. Not God. She cried. She told the truth. And no one listened. So I was born. I protect. I guard. I don't feel. Palmer stayed quiet. He saw not anger, but grief and exhaustion. "What do you want?" he asked gently. "To stop being a shadow," she said. "I want a name. so Olive can remember me, not just fear me. Palmer breathed in. What about Ray? Silence. Then Ray. Sounds like light, not fire, just a ray. Yes, Palmer whispered. Not to destroy, but to guide. A pause. Then a whisper. I am Ray. The circle grew still. Then Olive returned and cried. Not from pain, but for the first time, she realized she was never truly alone. Nero, the gentle soul. Ray, the fierce guardian. And Olive, finally listening. 3 voices, 3 fragments. And now, a journey back to wholeness. Together. Reiki isn't magic. It doesn't erase the past. It doesn't make scars disappear. But Reiki can soften, can soothe, without words, without needing to understand, just by being there, with love. Palmer knew this, and now, Olive was beginning to feel it. That morning, she sat quietly on the mat. No more flinching, no more shifting eyes, just stillness. Palmer played a soft soundscape. Ocean waves breathing in and out. Lavender floated in the air, gentle as a whisper. He sat beside her, close, but not too close. Hands hovering near her wrist, eyes closed. You don't need to say anything, he whispered. Just breathe. Let the light touch the places where pain still hides. Reiki began. Light, barely there, but deep, so deep. And then, a single tear rolled slowly down Olive's cheek. She didn't sob. She didn't gasp. Her body didn't tremble. The tear came quietly, as if her cells were weeping, one by one, letting go. Palmer said nothing, just held the flow. Steady, soft, safe. Inside her, Nero appeared first, spinning in light, smiling. I can feel the music again, she whispered. It's back. Then, a giggle, small, pure, like a child stepping into the sun. For the first time in years, Palmer's eyes welled up. Then, Ray. No screaming, no edge, just present. I'm not used to this softness, she muttered, but I can handle it. A small groan escaped her chest. Not pain, but release. I want to breathe too, not just guard. Palmer moved his hand to her lower belly. The root. Ray sat there, still armored, but slowly loosening the straps. Her eyes met Palmer's. No fire, just this. I'm trying. And then, Olive, the original. She began to lead. Palmer guided Reiki to her heart, and Olive whispered, let Nero play. He moved upward, to her mind, and Ray said, I'll hold the space, just for today. The next sessions were quiet. Each time, a new part stepped forward, not to take over, but to share. And Olive? She stopped being the girl caught between. She became the mediator. She wrote in her journal, I'm no longer afraid of my laughter. I'm not ashamed I was once weak. I don't hate Ray's protection anymore. I just want all of them to stay with me. Palmer read those words, closed the journal, and wept. Not for her, but with her. Because even after all the broken souls he had seen, it never stopped being beautiful to witness one. Coming home, Reiki continued. Not loud, not flashy, just a return, breath by breath, light by light. Palmer slowly stepped back. Not the guide, not the fixer, just the keeper of space. So Olive could become her own healer, her own bridge, her own home. August. Melbourne turned cold again. The last breath of winter lingered, with thin rain and spinning leaves on empty streets. Palmer stood by the window. But what stirred in him wasn't the wind outside. It was the wind inside Olive. Weeks of Reiki sessions had passed. She no longer flinched when touched, no longer screamed at slamming doors. Ray no longer erupted. Nero had begun to hum again. On the porch, in the sunlight. But Palmer knew. The hardest part is not healing. It's stepping into a world that hasn't changed. Then the school called. They had space. A special part-time program for students needing extra care. Her family cried with joy. Teachers offered support. But Palmer? He didn't celebrate. He just looked Olive in the eyes and asked, "Are you ready?" She said nothing, then slowly nodded.
The night before her return, Olive sent Palmer a message. "Can we do one more session? Not deep. Just a meeting. A small circle. For the three of them."
That evening, there were no old houses, no shadows, just a quiet circle. 3 chairs, 3 parts of one soul. Olive spoke first. "Tomorrow, we go back to school." Nero whispered, "People will look at us. What if they laugh?" Ray replied, arms crossed. "Let them. I'll handle it." Olive smiled. A soft, real smile. "We don't need to handle anyone. Let's make a deal. Ray, if there's danger, you step in. But if it's just embarrassment, let me manage." Ray smirked, then nodded. "Fine." Nero's eyes sparkled. "If there's art or music time, it's my turn, okay?" Palmer said nothing. He stood outside their circle, one hand over his heart, sending energy, sending stillness, letting them hold space for each other. That morning, Olive wore a beige hoodie, held a sketchbook, took a deep breath, and walked into class. 7 students. Quiet stares. A few whispers. Her hands trembled. But then, Ray whispered, "I'm here." And Nero smiled softly. "Let's draw our mind again." Olive straightened her back, looked into the bathroom mirror, and whispered, "I'm not normal. But I'm all 3. And I am whole." That night, Palmer's phone lit up. A message from Olive. "I said a full sentence in class today. And I didn't feel split." Palmer didn't reply immediately. He sat in silence. One tear rolled down. Not sadness. Not pride. Just the simple beauty of a soul, finding balance in the wind. Spring came early that year. In the hills behind the school, tiny purple flowers bloomed across the grass. Soft, quiet, like healing. Olive walked the stone path slowly, sketchbook in her arms, white dress fluttering, hair kissed by wind. No makeup, no jewelry, but her face glowed. Not like someone who was saved, but like someone who saved herself. Her eyes? Bright, steady, no longer afraid. Her smile? Real, soft, and completely unhidden. Each step was a breath. Each breath, a quiet return. The day Olive graduated from her therapy program, her family waited outside the gate. Her mother cried. Her father trembled as he hugged her. And Declan stood back with a wooden box. Inside it, a Japanese ink brush, engraved. To Olive, who redrew herself. They embraced. No words, only eyes glistening with unspeakable joy. They had lost her, and now they had her again. Not through pills, not through institutions, but through light, through love, and through a quiet healer named Palmer. He stood far away, outside the picture frame. He didn't wave, didn't speak, but when Olive turned to look, he simply nodded.
Thank you, her eyes said. You did it, his eyes replied.
Because Palmer knew. A true healer never pulls someone out of the dark. They just hold the light until the other finds their way. A few months later, Palmer left Melbourne. Backpack, notebook, meditation mat, and a heart full of gratitude. He dove deeper into healing. Reiki master, energy therapy, hypnosis. But more than that, he started mentoring. Not patients, students, people who once broke, now learning to become the light for others. In his first group circle, Palmer said, there was a girl named Olive. She split into 3 to survive. But she put herself back together. And she taught me. Reiki heals no one. It only invites the soul to return. He smiled. Since then, I don't heal anyone. I just hold the space. Somewhere in Australia, Olive sat by a window, drawing the opening scene of her first children's comic book. On the cover page, in neat, careful handwriting, to Palmer, who didn't save me, but helped me save myself. And from that day forward, she became the light. Not loud, not bright, but enough, warm enough, true enough, steady enough to guide others who were once lost, just like her. End of part 1.